Hello and welcome to Graceful Connections presented by Academy for the Soul. I'm your host, Sophie Bidar, and the co-creator of Graceful Connections together with Christel Hughes, founder of Academy for the Soul, the online school for intuitive arts. Graceful Connections is an adventure of exploration, discovery, healing, liberation, growth, and truthful expression, which is facilitated, amplified, magnified, and blessed really with grace. As graceful connections are woven between you and our expert speakers, your graceful guides into living your divine radiance. Thank you for being with us and bringing your unique vibration, colors, and energetic imprint, without which something would be missing. Thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace and for your willingness to fully and completely embrace and express, own, simply live your divine radiance. So let's begin. I invite you to relax and take a few deep breaths. Breathing out all that does not belong to this moment. Let's bring all your attention, all your presence here and now. We set our intention that our time together, all that is shared in words and beyond the words, all the energies that we call in and flow, serve our highest good, our evolution, and be of service to the highest good of all. I invite you to open your heart, or open it even more, and be ready to receive. And to open your mind, or open it even more, and be ready to receive. Activating your connection to the new earth crystalline grid and your connection to galactic center, the center of truth, so that you are held, both grounded and suspended. You are safe, relaxed, and ready and open to receive. Now I'm calling the orb of grace from the heart of the universe and placing the orb of grace around our group, our gathering, and each and every one of us. That we be held in grace and infused with grace all along our time together. Let's take a moment to adjust to the purity and the subtle high frequency of grace, allowing it to gracefully dissolve, realign, harmonize, amplify, magnify all that needs to be so, in purest alignment with divine will and the divine order of grace. And breathe. Beautiful. Now, within the orb of grace, I'm delighted to welcome our expert speaker, our own phenomenal, multi-dimensional, visionary, holographic high priestess, and multisensory intuitive Christel Hughes, who will lead us into unveiling celestial wisdom, the oracle's gateway to higher dimensional channeling. Christel Hughes is a multidimensional visionary, holographic high priestess, and multisensory intuitive, known as the spiritual trainer to the stars, specializing in energetic healing and rapid transformation for celebrities and individuals throughout the world. We are always in awe because of Christel's lightning fast and laser focused intuitive readings that go directly to the core of the issue. She pinpoints it immediately. Christel's work has broadened to include connecting with Archangel Metatron and mediating for Metatron's cube to instantly shift a person's consciousness, undoing mental, emotional, and physical limitations, as well as opening up their higher channels of communication. The Academy for the Soul was born through Christel Hughes as the online school for intuitive arts. Christel's purpose is to channel and shine light into the world and to operate as a conduit for divine truth, working with people to identify and develop their gifts and as they step into their purpose work. The Academy for the Soul helps people discover and develop their intuitive gifts and then share those gifts with the world as an offering. It is such a blessing to have you with us today. Christel, welcome.
Thank you. My goodness, how beautiful. This is so precious for us to be able to be together. I'm really loving it. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we're very honored to have you with us today. So Christel is going to share her expertise about accessing the higher dimensional realms for celestial channeling. And on Friday, March 1st, we'll gather again with Christel for live intuitive readings galore. For now, let's embark on an exploration of the higher dimensional realm, actually tapping into your guidance, Christel, to support us accessing them. And I'd like to begin with asking you, what are dimensional guides?
Well, I think there's a little story before we get to that. If I can just bring everyone up to date, I want to share because part of the way that I'm wired and the archetypal frequencies that move through me really are visionary and way shower. And so the way that my soul works for everyone is that I actually experience things and I make note of them and I research what's going on behind the scenes of like the why is this happening? And then I bring that out to all of you. Okay. So I thought that I would just share a little bit. So you guys are on that journey with me and understanding a little bit. As you said, Sophie, I've been working with Archangel Metatron and Metatron's cube for quite some time now, many, many years. And I've been doing different types of healings and bringing people into states of awakening. And it's all been really wonderful. Now, when Metatron's cube first introduced itself to me, I had no idea what was going on. I was in my little vision quest experience, the 24 hours of, no eating, no talking, no nothing, right? And here comes Metatron's cube zipping in and started showing me ways of doing healing and also the way to work with Metatron's cube. So over these years, I've been doing that. And suddenly they started talking to me about this holodeck. And so my personal journey is that I went from being this multi-intuitive, so I could actually see, sense, feel, and know, right? All my senses were online at the same time. I went from that really starting to open up to what they were calling the holodeck. And the holodeck, I just assumed was just that, right? It's a holodeck. When I would put my clients on that, I would see them out as a hologram. And so I was like, oh, this is so cool because all of a sudden I was able to have the representation of their beingness and I could access above them, below them. So I could look from all these different directions and understand the multidimensionality of them. So that's where I went from multi-sensory intuitive to multi-dimensional intuitive. And the holodeck became something that was just what I knew to do. I wasn't sharing that with people until recently. The last couple of years, when I'm in group session, I would actually say, let's go, we're going to put you on the holodeck. So I would say it out loud. And I don't know the exact moment where it was like, oh, I just knew I was doing that, to I'm saying it out loud. So suddenly I'm speaking something and sharing something with other people. And, you know, they didn't know all those years I was doing that. But we would start from that fifth dimensional realm where the golden grid is, and I would place them on their throne, and we would, you know, start to work from there. And that fifth dimensional grid, amazing, right? Because there's no time-space reality. So we could easily utilize Metatron's cube and the power of creation and discreation to dissolve things like disease, disorder, and to amplify. But going back to the story of now I'm sharing the holodeck with people. And when I would put them on the holodeck, seeing them as these holographic beings, what I didn't realize is that we are actually working with higher states that were the seventh dimensional realm. So we were being able to move through where it was basically a frequency of no time space to now jumping to the holographic reality where they had multiple and endless holograms themselves that they could choose. Do I want the healthiest version of myself? I'm going to choose that hologram. I'm going to become that. Or do I need to just take a small step and I'm going to pick just a slightly healthier version of who I am now, right? Now, what started happening is understanding, whoa, this is the seventh dimensional realm that we're living into. We have to also look at so many years, I mean, since 1988, where we've really started opening, spirituality started really coming online into our human world, right? Our planet started understanding and having conversations about this, and the harmonic convergence starting that and rippling through, and then 2012 and really activating these higher levels of that fifth dimensional reality where we could have the conversations. And then going into now, where what we're starting to see is that that seventh dimensional reality is calling us into being. And we were working on the fifth dimensional experience, the extrasensory intuitive abilities that we had, understanding those. We started working on the light body, right? On the light body. So we know that the light body is an extension basically from the etheric template, the outer seventh layer of our energy body starts to engage and build out this vehicle that allows us to be transported. And we've all been working on the light body, or most of us, for quite a few years now, right? But what is happening, and what I'm starting to see, is that once we reach that fifth dimensional realm and we've got our light body, not all the way built out, right? But pretty good, right? We're pretty good with that. We've done clearing of so many layers and levels, and we're starting to take it seriously that we need to come into a state of congruency and coherence, and our words have to match, our actions have to match what our spiritual aspirations are, right? We can't just get into spirituality and manifest anything that we want and our life is perfect, right? But as we start to recognize that everything is connected, we were working on the astral body and the etheric template body and the celestial body. And the celestial body became really clear to me that it was one of our companions in being able to channel light and channel truth. And so I started working with the celestial body. So as we were building out the light body, the celestial body really has to do a lot with making sure that the light wave frequencies that are entering into our systems are being translated accurately. And that's important if you're wanting to have conversation and communication with your soul. And part of the journey getting to that fifth dimension, remember, was awakening as your higher self, right? We have to bring our higher self. Our higher self wants to descend into our body so that we are embodying our soul self, embodying the higher self consciousness, right? So we did a lot of work on this for years, and I don't know, I've probably done just thousands and thousands of intuitive assessments over the years where I'm tracking the energy. Is the higher self actually inside that person's body? Is it hovering up above? And if it's not embodied, then it can't actualize anything. So the purpose wasn't being actualized. There's a lot of talking about their purpose, a lot of talking about why they want to do their purpose, but the higher self wasn't descended all the way down, let's say, into the feet, locking in the earth chakras into the earth. So they weren't bringing that down. So celestial body became very important for us. We're observing how a person is able to be a transmitter and a receiver of this divine light. But again, we're now moving from the fifth dimension to the seventh dimension. And this is where these beautiful beings start to come into play, right? Is that when you're working with the fifth dimensional realm, even third, fourth, and fifth, we're really starting to engage with our spirit guides, right? And it doesn't matter what type of spirit guide, but we're engaging with our spirit guides, right? And so, sorry, I got a little tickle. So our spirit guides are there to support us in bringing us signs, messages, helping us navigate our ascension path, right? And it's actually the way that I sense them coming in and coming out and rotating. You don't necessarily have the same one always close and around you, let's say, to engage with you. If, let's say, that you just came out of a breakup relationship, or maybe you got a divorce, right? And you're healing from that, you will call in a relationship guide to support you, not only with the healing of that, but understanding what was going on with that so that you don't duplicate that again, right? And then that spirit guide in relationships, they're an expert in that area. And then they will help you maybe go through the transition and maybe attract someone new. It depends, right? Now you have these different spirit guides for the season of your life and the rhythm of the energy in which you're drawing in, they will be magnetized and attracted to you. And so they come in and they start to get as close as they possibly can so that you can kind of, quote, hear them. But it's a feeling tone vibration, right? And then they'll engage and start to bring things in, and your ancestors can be spirit guides for you as well. But as we start to move up higher in our consciousness from that fifth dimensional realm and reality, and we've done a lot of work, let's say working with Metatron's cube, working in the place of no time, no space, all of a sudden we're calling forth a higher dimensional type of guide. And this is what I was seeing. As we transition through the magnetism of the sixth dimension, we start to arrive at that seventh dimension. We start to play in this holographic way, and we have multiple beings of our own self that are holographic that we can again choose. When we put our mind to that, when we put our focus to that, and we put our heart focus as well, we click in, lock into one of those holograms, and then we have multiple expressions of our future lifeline. Possibility lines, probability lines, we're clicked in to the consciousness of that hologram that we've chosen. And therefore, we have a different type of guide. So you're wondering what that guide is?
Yes, that's very intriguing. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that guide is actually an oracle. Oracles are our seventh dimensional being that we work with. Now, from that, like I was saying, the sixth dimension, the fifth to the sixth, and moving all the way up to the 11th, we're now calling forth oracles. These oracles are our guides. And it's fascinating as these celestial beings are there, because maybe you have a question, maybe I can answer that, about how they show up and how they reveal themselves and all this magic that I've come to find out. But I'm going to take a little breath here. So if you have some question, you can ask me that question.
Yeah. Well, I want to make a comment, so I'm going to let you breathe. Because I've been lucky, I'm among the lucky people who have had this experience of being placed on the holodeck by you and with you, this experience with you. And first, when I heard you talk about it some time ago, I thought that you were, well, placing people on the holodeck so that you can perceive, which I understand at some point that's what you are doing. But when I got to experience being placed on the holodeck, for me, it's a whole experience. Not only it allows you to perceive and to do what you are there to do in the context of a session or workshop or whatever it is that's going on, but for me, for example, as the person who is being placed on the holodeck, it is also, it's like my consciousness is being expanded and my perception, there's like a catalyst to my perception. Everything vibrates differently. I get to perceive, not to the same degree, I suppose, as you do perceive the hologram, but I get a good chunk of that higher and finer and more subtle, but like there's a greater intensity of subtle perception. It's like really you are taking us to a whole new dimension when you place us on the holodeck, and it's really a phenomenal experience. It is totally unique, and it may last for a moment, it may last for a few minutes or more, but time stops and so much happens during these moments, so much, such depth of radical transformation. As you said, we can choose which holographic expression we go for, and it happens. It's just it is absolutely fascinating. So I'm trying to convey my experience. I think it is just something to experience for ourselves, but it is really something of totally of another world, of another dimension. So that's my comment about this.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. And the beauty of this is you have to understand that there's a big part of me that is, I mean, I'm so devoted to the divine and I'm really obedient, but there is a part of me that's kind of rebellious with this whole idea where people just want to jump higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. So
Right.
for so many years, I really was rebellious about, talking about higher dimensions and this and that, because I see that people aren't ready for that energetically.
Right.
One of the things that I offer community, our spiritual community, is that I read truth. And sometimes that truth, because I'm an initiator and I initiate people into their next level of advancement, right? And I help them initiate their spiritual gifts coming down and using that, right? And I would see, no, you're not ready for that because you haven't addressed these personas. You haven't addressed the density. You're trying to jump ahead instead of really drilling down. And again, what I was saying is the importance of bringing the higher self-consciousness into the body. And they would get halfway there and they'd be like, oh, I'm done. Let me jump, right? Jump to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And so I myself didn't want to talk about beyond the fifth dimension. So the universe is so sneaky that it knows how to channel that things just come out of my mouth, right? So suddenly I'm in, and I'm in these intuitive reading energy labs or whatever these sessions are that I'm doing, and then it's like holodeck starts coming out, and then people are like, "What's the holodeck?" And I'm like, "Well, I've been putting you on it for years. I just haven't been saying it, but I guess now's the time." And I think that's it for me. I'm open to the advancement, but I also need to know how, why, what, because to me, as a behaviorist, I'm observing a person's behavior. I'm observing them to see the readiness and also seeing the archetypal energies and frequencies wanting to come in. So in doing this work, like in awakening your celestial channels, we were within that capacity to just become bliss and to recognize that transformation can be blissful. And so that was an eye-opening experience for me, that it wasn't just me going into those states of bliss when we're on the holodeck. Our whole group was going to high levels and high states pretty instantly as we were doing this deepest, darkest transformational work that we could do, which is that deep soul work for opening those celestial channels.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Okay, so where are we going now, Sophie?
Well, we were just about to reveal the dimensional guides, more about the guides, how to access them, why, and all that. More about the oracle, right? To reveal the oracle, the next level of, right, from 7 dimensions.
Yeah.
With the oracles. So tell us about the oracles.
Yes. And this is what is so profound, because as we are going into this new transition, remember I was talking about the as well. The aura is building out the light body. The aura actually now is working to build out the holographic body. That's where we're going. We've been working on the light body for years now. And as that vehicle, it supports us in traversing the realms. And so we begin to utilize the light body in a certain way with Metatron's Cube. Metatron's Cube is built for this. It is built to support us no matter what dimension we're on, because it's non-localized. This is Metatron's Cube. It's a combination of vibrational beings that work together and collaborate and communicate. And simultaneously, this is happening. And it's directly linked to everything that is in our makeup, everything that is behind the scenes of creation. And so as we start to understand this, we're thinking, well, okay, now is this just something for my left brain to click onto? Like, now we're going to build out our holographic body. Okay, right? Next thing. Now that's what the left brain's going to want to do, right? But actually, we have to go in to build out the holographic body. And so our oracles are there, they're presencing themselves now because they're starting to see that we're ready to bring in the magnetism of divine feminine energy with the electrical energy of our masculine. We've worked to open up a lot of the electromagnetic channels. We've started to understand the nadis flowing through. We've started to understand the torus field moving around us. And the divine feminine energy is saying, let's start to bring in the magnetism. But we're also working a lot with the celestial plasma, because remember, we've been working on the celestial body. That we have to continue to work on. Okay, so a lot of what I've been doing over the course of this last year is really about the celestial energy body. So the oracles have been watching and waiting for us. And what is so wild is that it's hard to put your finger on an oracle, whereas a spirit being, or let's say a crystal spirit being, or an animal spirit being that's supporting you, or a fairy spirit being, we can easily access them. I'm going to share with you my experience of coming into the land of the oracles, right? So as I'm on the holodeck and recognizing I'm on the holodeck and I'm observing all of the holograms of my own being self, which one do I want to choose? As soon as I choose, I'm going from wave form into a point of light, right? So suddenly I become this point of light on the holodeck, and I'm hovering in this experience with Metatron's cube. I know the power of the as above, so below, and all of a sudden I'm in this place that is all of these different types of mirrors, different sizes, different shapes. And I'm recognizing that they aren't actually mirrors, but they are oracles. The mirrors, when you look into a mirror, what happens? There's a depth to it.
Yeah.
And you almost said it.
And there's a reflection, right?
There's a reflection, right? So our oracles are these cosmic beings that come in to reflect our holographic nature to us, and also support our holographic work, spiritual gifts, right? When we want to bring the one oracle, let's say, because you're going to be in like the hall of mirrors, right? You're in the fun house and it's all mirrors, and it can get pretty wild, right? Like, you have to, again, localize. You have to localize. And where you localize is in the tiny space of the heart. Okay. So again, I want you to just flow with this, because your mind's going to try to kick in and understand it fully. And I don't want that. I want you to stay open with your heart and open with your being, because there's lots of questions, I'm sure, that are coming up. But when we are accessing from that tiny space of the heart, that's the portal to all of the cosmos. And literally, it's a meeting place at any given time, because we can program that. We can say, oh, I want to go to the 7th dimension, or I want to go to the 11th dimension. The reality is, it's our body interaction and the conjunction places within us. We might say we want a certain coordinate and we're going to go to this coordinate. But what I found is our body, being the energetic structures, are not ready for that yet. Okay. So my role is to get everybody ready for that. Just talking about the holodeck, just starting to put people on the holodeck, that's readying everybody. Having this conversation is readying everybody. We're all starting to, okay, I understand. I have to bring my higher self-consciousness down into my body first, right? I have to understand where I'm supposed to go in order to meet the beings and have the divine consciousness flowing through me. Why? Because love, light, and truth. We cannot be in the lower mind in any way, shape, or form and think that we're connecting and communicating with the guide and get the wrong guidance. We can't do it wrong, because it will throw us off our path. right? And
Right.
so when I started observing these oracles and started recognizing they're all around me, they're above me, they're below me. This isn't like one spirit guide. I'm in this hall of mirrors, but it's a circular hall. It's not linear. It's a spiral of mirrors, mirror beings that are reflectors, that are reflecting parts and pieces of me and reflecting to me who I am, who I'm to be, based on this, based on the consciousness that I bring. And then how we are to focus in and just work with one oracle. That's something, right? That's something. So we know that we will engage depending on the trajectory of our soul path. And we will engage with what, let's just say, we're going to put in simple terms, one mirror, one oracle for a time, for a time. And we will be supported in mastering that. We will have reflections. We will use this beautiful being in all that we're doing and all that we're creating. And we'll start to then see that when we do that, there's a specific way, but it starts to upgrade us because the truth isn't as painful. The reflection isn't painful, right? Again, it's a reflection of our holographic experience of our own selves. This is why we can now start to work with our parallel lives, because those are holograms of us, right? And what we start to get a sense of is that we are a simulation, and we're simulating and we're shining the hologram reality of what we want on planet Earth to our own human body being. Okay? So just as you are, if you're in a simulation of, let's say you're a pilot and you're practicing on the simulator, right? And you're practicing flying and you're getting qualified. It's the same thing. We are going to the seventh dimension. The oracles are supporting us in becoming qualified to live our purpose, to actualize and to bring things out, and to even understand what we're doing when we're doing it. I've worked for so many years in Academy for the Soul. That's all we did for years and years and years. Like how many years? I don't know. I think it's like 17 years. And it was all about just getting people to live as their higher self, understanding the flow of energy, bringing that energy through, putting them into situations where they would activate their spiritual gifts and then start to master those. Little did we know that the seventh dimensional oracles, and I say sixth dimension to 11th, but we're focusing in on the seventh right now because pretty much that's where we've gotten to. And we need to really understand this. So these oracles come in, they put us in this kind of holographic simulation, and we start to shine that down. What we've learned, we channel that down to our own human body being, and we start to be able to live that out. And we have the taste of those higher vibrational values, the joy, the bliss, the expansiveness, where literally you're in oneness, you're floating in the oneness. The exhilaration of the moment starts to come over you, and you really are living in the space between. So that's really what I've discovered and what I've found. And so our job now is to focus in on how that energy can come into our body being, and how do we work with these oracles. And also, I'm just going to mention it here, Sophie, just briefly. There's other beings that we don't want to ignore, because again, as we go higher, we also have to go lower. We have to honor and respect the Devic realm and the devas of at least planet Earth, right? I mean, we have to honor them. Otherwise, we can't even get into the tiny space of our heart. So from the first, let's say zero dimension to that third dimensional realm. Remember, there's a bit of a crossover. It's not a straight line, right? From 0 to 3, third dimension, we're accessing the Devic realm, and the Devas are brilliant celestial beings that literally are sparkling beings. They're shimmering beings of light. They're not beings that are just held on the earth plane, but they give us the capacity to traverse the earth plane, below the earth plane, or simultaneously the dimensional realm that is just out of the earth plane. And we say below, but the reality is I see it really as glowing circles. Okay. So how do you put that into layers? It's layers of glowing circles that we traverse. And some of you have seen fairies, and some of you have seen these beings, however they show up, whenever they show up, but they're always there. And they're literally the builders of our creation. And so they're not just confined to planet Earth like we might want to think that fairies are, or elves are, or, you know, these other beings. So these are great celestial beings, and these are ancient beings. So I just wanted to bring that in as well, because those Davic beings are the ones that help balance out when we go so high. They help us balance out, and they also help us to anchor our celestial energy through our body into planet Earth, which means that we are bringing things into reality. If you've ever tried to manifest something and it got really close, but it never anchored itself in your aura, it didn't come true, it didn't ground, it slipped through your fingers. That was because of the connection with the Devic realm. And the Devas are very closely connected to the karmic rhythms in our Vedic chart. So we have to honor them just like we honor the Devas of the planets and these higher level beings. And we call them goddesses and lords, right? Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Goddess Lakshmi, Goddess Saraswati. If we were wanting to learn how to play an instrument, we would call forth Goddess Saraswati, this beautiful Devic being. She is Devi. She is Mother. And all the Devic realm really is linked to Divine Mother on planet Earth, okay? So just wanting to not overwhelm, but I wanted to kind of bring in the context of what we have to do now. We have to get you prepared, get your body being prepared to actually receive this energy, to be able to translate that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, Christel. And before we, obviously the next question is, how do we prepare? But before we even go there, I really want to honor your dedication to keeping us on tracks, because you could easily tell us or sell us, oh yes, I take you to 11th dimension tomorrow, come with me, let's go, let's do this. But your care to making sure that we are ready and that we are in the proper energetic shape and constitution to take the next step. And I know that this is such a dedication of yours, and it is so important, because you're like a guardian. I mean, I know, and we know that you're a keeper of truth, and you are an embodiment of truth, and everything you do and speak is truth. But I would say it is one of your gifts of truth. You gift us truth by holding us at the right place on our path, instead of letting us fool around fool around and get lost. And I guess sometimes it may not be so popular when someone wants to rush, or, maybe be a bit childish and just want to step forward no matter what, and you hold them to their position and what's their next step, but it is so necessary to have you as this guardian of truth, of the truth of our path. So I wanted to really honor that and honor you for that, for your commitment
Aw,
to that.
thank you. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we have to support each other to keep going.
Mm,
And, you know, the idea is when, like you said, like the little child, I mean, we just, you know, we are like a little child. We, you know, we want to like run and get the ball, but we won't be paying attention to what's coming. Right. And we can get knocked off the path. It's like, you know, there's a dog coming and the dog's gonna bump, you know, run, like be so excited and run into us. We're like trying to get the ball, but here comes this little doggy, right? Like boom, bumping us off. And we'll be like, oh, hi, doggy, and forget what's going on.
mm,
So we want to be playing in the infinite playground with the divine, but we have to always look at the context. What are we
mm,
doing and why? And then do we have the container that's actually going to get us there, right? Are we in the container and the context that we need to actually get us where we want to go? Otherwise, we are wasting time. And time is what we don't have more of, right?
mm,
Because our soul did come down and incarnate for a purpose. And the
mm,
oracles help us achieve our destiny milestones. And this is what I'm understanding, is that those years when I was helping people bring down and literally channel in an instant their special gift assignment, that it would channel and it would come through. The oracles were there. They were presencing themselves. This was a milestone for this person's destiny. And it's a way in working with the oracles, it softens the energy. Because if we don't know what's happening and how this is coming in, then we are innocently ignorant. You know what I mean? And
mm,
we don't have to be ignorant to what's happening. Okay. So we do have to rein in. The oracles are going to come and work with you, but it's a frequency, tone, vibration. You have to entrain to that. You have to entrain to that. You have to really be a master over your mind to a certain degree, right? Because it's not like your oracles aren't there in waiting, if you will, right? We can go and I can take you to that seventh dimensional realm. I'm wired to go to these different realms. It's in my human design. I can take you down to the fairy realm and you can start to experience fairies. I can bring you back out and then I can take you to these higher celestial beings and have you experience them. But we're not just wanting me to take you there.
right.
We want you to take you there.
Yes.
We want you to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
so that's where it's important for us. And that's the beauty of it, is that with the gift that I've been giving of being able to see your multidimensional self, start to see also with premonitions what's to come for you specifically. And that's what led me to observe, whoa, we're now building out this holographic body, which gives us the abilities to be in the experience of the frequency tones of light. And the frequency tones of light have a translation, which is like handing you an envelope. And you open the envelope and you open the card and you get to read the message. There's a message that wants to come to you. But if you're not even in the place of awareness, they're handing you that envelope and then you don't even know they're standing right in front of you handing that to you. You're oblivious to it, right? So it's on a different dimension, but it's in your reality. But that's where I've been able to observe what's going on, because it's pulsation. It's a vibrational frequency tone. And we've worked for so many years with people who are empaths and not taking on everything outside, but how do we go within and strengthen that inner constitution and observe what's happening? So that's really what, I mean, I've discovered specific things about this as to how we do that. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to share with us? How do we do that?
Yeah. So, so what we've started observing is that there's gateways and channels in our being. Okay. So you'll hear me talk a lot about even like awakening the celestial channels. Why have I been on about this for the last couple years? Why am I working with the celestial body? Why am I working to bring people to become this stellar channel, this celestial channel? This is why. I'm getting chills right now because I don't even know why until, I mean, I just do it. And then suddenly it comes in and it's like, whoa, that's why divine has had me do this. And I'm not just saying me, because all of you that have come with me that have been doing it, you're doing it too, right? So we've been focusing in on awakening the celestial channels. We've been understanding that there's these celestial channels, and these channels are related to how we engage with these beautiful celestial guides and beings, right? So celestial guides, when I say celestial guides, I'm talking about on all the dimensions. Okay. But if we were to break that up again, it's devas from dimension 0 to just over 3, and then spirit guides from 3 to 5, and then slightly going over into 6th dimension, oracles 6 to 11th dimension. So we have, for example, these dimensional portals, like the Earth Root Nexus for the Davic realm, right? This is on the first dimension. So this Earth Root Nexus, this is a collection of vibrational frequencies of light. How do you find that? How do you find that to move?
I was going to say, where are they? Where is
See
it?
what I'm saying? So by grounding yourself and really allowing yourself to be in this experience with someone that knows how to find that, you can move through that. It's really like having, you know, having a nature guide, right? To bring you through. So in the concept of these channels and gateways, these live within your being. Because why? Can you guess? Why would they be inside of you when your tendency of your mind is to go there outside somewhere I have to get to?
Well, because they're there to support us to come back to ourselves and to hold ourselves there, not out there.
We're a hologram.
What
are we a hologram of?
The divine?
Everything in the universe, right? Right? So do you think that the divine would actually build us, right? The macro and the micro. Every one piece has everything that ever existed in it.
Right.
There's no separation.
Right.
So what I've done is I've started to see, oh, we've got the celestial corridor. What is that? That takes us through to the 6th dimension and above. I'm starting to map these places, but within a person's being, based on where they're at. And I'm not saying that there's any rhyme or reason to this, because it doesn't matter. I can track where that Earth Root Nexus is for you within your own being to reach your Deva, your primary Deva. I can track the soul pathway to reach your spirit guide that's acting within you. I can track the celestial corridor within you. Now, these are what I've been calling access points. And I've been working with the access points. You might have heard me say that. I definitely was saying that in Breaking the Celestial Channels, right? I've got to work with your access points. Now, access points are so cool because they can show up as like a bundle of grapes. Think about little tiny dots that I'm looking for. But they can show up as like a constellation in you. they can show up as sporadic points, you know, where you're just like, wow, okay, there's 3 over there and 2 over there, and what's going on? Why are they set? How can we bring them together? So what I started seeing is these access points. I want you to think of them as points where the vibrational energy, the holographic light, which is 0 point energy, each access point is at 0 point energy, is what I'm trying to say. It's a portal. It's a portal, right? So it is a portal at 0 point. What does 0 point mean? No polarity, no push-pull, no light shadow. There's nothing that's at war with itself. It's in the oneness, allness, nothingness we always talk about, you guys. Oneness, allness, nothingness, where Metatron's cube takes us through the 1111 gateway. Did you see I've got my 1111 necklace on?
Yes.
Right? So we go through the 1111 gateway. The reality of this is that we start to work with Archangel Metatron and Metatron's cube, because what I was starting to see is that, unfortunately, the access points that are living within your being, think of them as chakras if you need to, right? Because we don't necessarily see chakras, but we've got a grasp of what that is, right? And so I want you to think of these access points as spinning energy portals. Sometimes they're calcified. They're not spinning. They're not drawing energy in either direction. They're not letting you access 0 point energy. Again, think of it like a fan in your home, and the residue and the stickiness that gets on the blades of the fan and then inside the motor of that fan, right?
Right.
Because it's spinning, and it's supposed to spin, and it's been spinning, but then it got all of this gook and goop and residue on it. It got calcified, and it might be that you're not grounded properly. You haven't been bringing that celestial energy in. It might be that you're too left brain, that you haven't been acknowledging that creative side of your being. There's all kinds of other reasons why we're not going to be able to bring that in. But what we start seeing is that they're the gateways of 0 point energy. And what happens is, if we can get those up and running and organized, and if we can do that, we're going to have this back and forth type of communication, right? That energy is coming in, and we can sync you up so the transmission of that communication is entrained. And your celestial body is helping with that. So engaging and allowing you to translate the multidimensional being. Okay. So it's non-decipherable, but I can decipher where that is for you. Okay. And because your higher self is going to show me where they're located. Right. So as we utilize these, the transmission from the celestial beings and your guides start to come in. They start to move the consciousness through the layers of your being. This is an inward and an outward flow, okay? So we start to think of, when we breathe in, we're bringing things into form, exhaling out, dissolving them, right? So we're integrating the promptings for action, right? Thought forms, action, ideas, new patterns start to create, knowings start to create. We're increasing your intuition, because we literally are opening the channels when we can get the light through the gateways, right? And so that allows us to now go, ooh, let's start to focus on these access points. Let's start to focus on bringing the energy through the channels in a way that you can receive it, because you're entrained to it. Okay, that's why we're going to have not just myself working with you, but we're going to have Carrie Kaisick working with you, because she's working with pure vibrational frequency. We'll go into that and she'll share a little bit later. But it's so important what we're going to be doing to get you ready for that light, because it doesn't matter if you're mentally going, oh, I'm on the 5th dimension now. You know, are you channeling that energy? You know, like, oh, I can just pop myself to the 7th dimension. Okay, what are you doing there? And what's happening? What's happening? And we have to question ourselves, because if you're telling me you're functioning from the 5th dimension and higher, and I look in and I see access points, and I see your celestial body like rattling, and it's not spinning and flowing and beautiful and in the place that it needs to be, do you see? I can't agree with that. I'm going to want to work to support you to getting that real access points that are ready to come online and functioning, to draw the consciousness in, because I don't want you dependent on me or somebody else. I want you to be able to up level, because why? That's what you're here for. If you're listening to this, it's because your soul is connected you synchronistically to us right now and brought you in here, because you need to hear this. You can't be in denial and just think that some healer's going to take you someplace. We're all here to grow together. The beauty of this is that the way that the universe works is that every being that's at the next highest dimension works to help the dimension below bring it up. And so even if I'm a 1st dimensional being, I know that I'm connecting and relating and communicating with the 2nd dimensional being, that as they evolve, they're evolving me. And just as us, as you know, there are humans on this planet that still don't know that a tree is a soul.
Yeah.
They just see it as a freaking tree that they can cut down and use, right?
Yeah.
And make money. So we are advanced in that sense, that we observe a tree is a soul, a tree is a being, a rock is a being, a mountain is a being, a lake is a being, a planet is a being. And so as humans, we are the offering to other humans. They're on the same plane with us. But if we're functioning from a 5th dimensional reality, we're bringing the people still in the 3rd, 4th dimension up to 5th dimensional reality. If we're functioning now at 6th, 7th dimension, imagine what we're doing and who we're bringing up, who we're bringing with us, working with the oracles and working with our spiritual guides, and working with the devas. We're really actually doing what we came to do. We're fulfilling that greater purpose.
Yes, and what I'm hearing along with what you said, yes, someone can take me to the 7th dimension, right, and bring me back, which to me it's kind of like tourism, right? Dimensional tourism. Oh, get on my boat, I'll take you there, and then I'll bring you back. And
Yeah.
I guess there's a point to it to get us maybe excited about it, or to get us curious about it. But as you say, in truth, we need to be able to get ourselves there, because, well, I have things to do at the 7th dimension. There's a whole chunk of my mission, of my purpose, that's at the level of the 7th dimension, and the 8th and the 9th, etc. And I'm not going to be able to perform this by having someone take me there, give me a lift every day, or right, or do the tourism. I have to be able to get to, well, to live there. I have to bring myself there. And I think that's, it kind of makes the sorts out between are we here to do tourism, or are we here to be serious and to be committed to our purpose and to the continuation of our purpose, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have our spirit guides. Okay, we are more familiar with spirit guides, but I'm sure you have more to bring us about them than what we have known and experienced so far. Kind of to wrap it up before we go on. We need to be well connected with the devas, and some of us maybe, but many of us need to have this connection and to have it at a very, very fine degree. And we need to connect with, I was thinking, is it our primary oracle? Is it our master teacher oracle? As you said, there's one. We have many, we have plenty of these mirrors, but there's one with whom we need to work. I guess that that's the one who will teach us to embrace the holographic nature and the holographic experience and the holographic everything, right? They are our teacher oracle, maybe.
They want us to become oracles.
Oh, right.
Our
Oh,
our goal is to become oracles.
okay.
Right?
So that's
So
clear.
that,
At least that's clear.
I mean, so I want to, yeah, we can talk a little bit about the spirit guides, right? Because there's something that's really important that everyone needs to know is that, again, your spirit guides aren't necessarily more advanced than you. There's this idea that, oh, my spirit guides know everything about everything, and that's not what I've seen, okay? And it's important that when we connect with our spirit guides through the access points of our being, remember, our higher self needs to be embodied, but also every communication needs to come through our higher self with our spirit guides. And this keeps everything really clean. Our higher self is so intelligent. It knows our whole cycle for every rhythm of our cycle, every season, if you will, of our cycle while we're incarnated on this planet, right? Our higher self knows that. So our higher self will determine and filter out anything that's unnecessary for us. So what happens, and look, I've been there where, oh, I used to get so angry and frustrated. When I first started, this was back in 2000, 2001, when I learned about spirit guides. And I used to lay down flat for hours a day and tuning in to my spirit guides. I get so frustrated because nothing would happen, right? Then I'd go to my healer and I'd be like, nothing's happening. She goes, no, you're just not listening correctly. Can you imagine someone telling you that? You're like, but how am I supposed to listen? And she couldn't tell me that. Well, now I know about the tiny space. I know about getting into the 0 point. I know how to access the tiny space. I know who I need to communicate with before I can get there to let me in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To honor the dimensions, honor the beings, and honor the realms. And again, what happens is our mind tries to take over and say, oh, I've got this spirit guide and their name is that, and they're telling me this. The reality is that if you go through your higher self-consciousness, you purify the message You filter it down, you distill it down into what's really important. It's like having a conversation with someone, if you've ever done that, where they just talk about nonsense, but every other, every other minute, a little nugget of good comes out. You're like, ooh, oh, okay, I'm following you, I'm tracking you. But there's all this other nonsense that you don't need. You just want that truth vibration to come through. And we can name our spirit guides. The way we're going to feel it, though, is it's actually by entraining with their vibrational frequency and drawing that energy down as light into our being. So that's how I was supposed to be hearing. I knew how I flowed energy because I paid attention. But what I didn't know is that as that energy would come in as light, the light needed to be opened. Again, like an envelope. I've got to feel the light, sense the light, and then I have to open myself to get a vibrational download of information. And that's going to be triggered through my clairaudience channel, which sounds like me talking to myself. So people think that their spirit guide's going to have this other voice, right? Now, you're talking to yourself in another voice, possibly, but it's more the vibrational frequency tone of your own voice that resonates as truth. When you tell a white lie, you know the vibration of white lie, even if it accidentally plopped out of your mouth and you're like, why did I just say that? That's not what I meant.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And everybody does that. It's like, why did I just say that? They
That's
ask you how
true.
you are and you're like, fine, but you're really in misery, So we know the vibration of the little white lie. That's not truth. And we know the vibration of truth. And our spirit guides coming through our higher self. So that means we don't allow our spirit guides to come through our mediumship gateway. We don't allow them to step into our aura. We don't allow any being to enter our body. Everything has to have boundaries. We have to have the context for interacting with them. It's a because. I'm interacting with this guide because they're my relationship guide and I'm going through relationship trauma right now. That's a context, and there's a container, and you don't let them cross over that, okay? I was having problems when I first started doing energy work. I actually was in my hypnotherapy practice for many years, and I started doing energy work, and people's guides started clinging on to me. I would say bye to the client. They would walk out the door, and their guides would still be there with me because their guides knew I could understand them. So they
finally
decided
they had someone to talk to.
they have someone to talk to. So they decided, oh, we're going to cling on to her aura. And I was miserable. I couldn't move at one point. I had no boundaries. I didn't understand what I was doing. And that really led me to gaining an understanding really fast. Because at one point I walked in and to one of my closest girlfriends. I mean, this was way back. Like I said, like 2001, I walk in and she looks at me and she's like, what in the hell happened to you, sweetie? You are white. I'm like, I have so many beings that won't leave me alone, so much energy. And she instantly got out the oils and started putting them on me. The beings started rushing out. This was Imuna Malinovitz, if any of you know Imuna.
I thought so. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
I felt that must be Imuna.
She was my mama. Like, she was protecting me. She's like, you guys out of here, out. And she started putting these essential oils on me. I was like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I really started understanding how to hold myself. So we do, even though this isn't going to be a class that we're offering in what spirit guides are, what these are, what they are, I'm actually going to be focusing on what I can best serve you with, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is the access points, getting
Mm.
you open, getting you healthy so you can channel this, right? Getting you out of mental fixation patterns, out of attachment to time, out of your lack of values, which you don't feel you don't feel deserving of, right? Out
Mm.
of religion suppression. Metatron's cube can clear all of that, all time, space, realities, dimensions, directions, wherever your soul and spirit are. Why do we say that? If you've been around me for any time doing any type of healing, we say that because we are holographic. We are in all time, space, realities, dimensions, directions,
Right. Yeah.
all at once. So when I say that, it's a command of the energies to shift. And it's a blessing and it's a healing upon itself. Also, we have to look at the electromagnetic frequencies. If your magnetics are off, we have to turn them back on. It, again, could be a grounding issue. It could be that your vibrational frequency is too low. In other words, again, you haven't built up the strength of your deep constitution with your physical body. And it's like trying to run 120 watts through a 40-watt bulb. You're going to blast out. You're going to blast out your kidneys, right? Or if you're not connected to the golden grid of grace, which is the structure of the universe, which we have to get you grounded, connected in, congruent and coherent before you can do this, right? Also, we have to look at, has your higher self descended? What is that vertical column looking like to channel the energy and information through, right? We have to look at your fears around entities, because you could have a fear of entities, which is actually closing the access points for your own beautiful vibrational beings, ancestral guides, to send you information, right? So they can't access you because you've got this idea of like everybody's out to get me. Not to make light of that. I do believe in entities, but it's actually very rare that I see that. Okay.
Right.
But in saying that, I just told you, don't let in even what you think are benevolent beings through your mediumship gateway. Don't let them into your aura. Why are you letting them in? That's not the way. Don't let them into your body. You should never be channeling where some being comes into you and takes over your mouth. Why would you do that? The thing is that we think we have to, again, go somewhere or let something enter us. But there's the holographic body and the holographic dimensional realm where you can access everything and its potential thing of becoming. You can access it. So that's why seventh dimension is coming to us now. That's why our oracles are coming to us now. People who are working and doing healing with oracles are advanced beings. The results of working with fifth dimensional oracles to support healing, coming into greater levels of truth and awareness, guidance. These are the visionary way showers. These are the caretakers. All of these can be seventh dimensional, any archetypal frequency, working with what we've been working with. The alchemist and the wizard and the channel, all of these archetypes. It's because we have tapped into the holographic realm now. We have access to that. And so very important to, again, embody the frequency of what we need. We're not going out anywhere. We're inviting the truth and only the truth in. So it would be a transmission, a vibratory transmission from a spirit guide, from a deva. In fact, with the devas, that's the only way they live. If you make a little fairy hut or fairy house and you put it in your garden and you put out yummy food, like whole grain rice or something like that, or vegetables, as an offering to those fairies to come and the devas to come and help your garden or to protect your land of where your home is. They don't eat it, right? They take in the frequency of what you've offered them. And that translates into meaning into their ethereal being. They're ethereal beings. So they function off of vibration and light frequency. So you make an offering, it's in some form. It's a form, but they don't eat the form to get the message that you're offering them. Do you see? So it's the same way.
They're trained to it, right? Would you say they're trained to it?
It's in training and drawing in the vibrational truth of that. So yeah, so we don't want to be afraid of working with these beings, but also we want to be aware. But what I'm offering to you really is my consciousness of what I've become aware of and how, and this is my specialty, is adjusting your energy and your energetic bodies so that you can bring the message in, channel the light in, while staying healthy inside your body, inside your container, with a healthy context of relating and being able to translate that into action, again, to actualize it. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Well, we are so lucky and blessed. We are blessed to have you, Christel. Well, first of all, to bring all this awareness and clarity. I mean, I'm sure it's a discovery and many revelations for many or even all of us listening to you. So thank you for that. But not only that, you are here to support us to make it happen and to take the next steps, whatever is our next steps in this. And with your putting together your gifts, your talents, and you've created this wonderful offering, Guided by Light, and we'd love to hear all about it now. So for everyone to follow, go to gracefulconnections.com/Christel3, or simply scroll down the page to discover Christel's special offer. Christel, will you now reveal what you've created for our audience to make this happen for us?
Happily. Yes, yes, yes. So I just had to bring it up so I could go over it. Right?
Yes.
What I've discovered is it is so beautiful to actually be together, and what we gain by having everybody together is exponential vibrational upgrades. So what I want you to know is, in creating this, I've put it in a way where we're going to be together, and we're going to be together in very intimate settings. And it's so beautiful. This is called Guided by Light. It's experiential. It's going to be in real time. It's illuminating your intuitive path, obviously, because everything that we're doing opens up your intuition. It allows you to bring that greater level of truth and consciousness through your body being, to bring you to a place of understanding, of awakening, and really to illuminate so that you know what is truth and what isn't, increasing your celestial channeling, as we talked about. But this is through accessing the guidance of your celestial allies. You have these brilliant beings that are wanting to be with you and that are there to support you. Now, as we go through this, it's really important that we start to first sync you up. And this syncing up is what I was talking about with getting your higher self locked in the way that we know higher self consciousness is meant to be locked in. Okay, so you're going to have moments in this in sync program, which Carrie Kaisick, who is absolutely stunning and brilliant with her capacity to bring in the crystal bowls as beings, she is going to be doing 3 weeks with you. in which, as we look at this, you're going to be focusing in on syncing up first and initially with your higher self. And then from that point, as you sync up with your higher self, she is going to sound her crystal bowls, call in her dimensional guardians, and we are going to then, one at a time, work with moving through, connecting you in sync with your oracles, with your spiritual guides, and with your devas. Okay. Carrie, do you want to come on and share a little bit about the magic of the crystal bowls and the conscious beings that you're bringing in to help serve for the InSync program?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I love the crystal bowls, and they're so powerful in the ways that they impact us. And that's because they're made of pure crystal quartz, like 99.99% quartz. And the reason this is so important is because our bones, our DNA, and even the blood in our body all have this crystalline structure. So our human body just has this beautiful natural affinity to the quartz crystal. And so these resonant tones from the singing bowls enables the crystalline structure within our bodies to resonate at the same frequency. So it reestablishes this balance and harmony at a vibrational and energetic level. So these bowls bring in light through sound. And so each crystal bowl is tuned to a specific frequency that corresponds to our chakras. And so when I'm playing the bowls, it really induces this altered state of consciousness as the sound moves through every cell of the body. And so when you're immersed in these vibrations, your awareness expands, you enter this deep meditative state where blocked emotions are really released in a profound and positive way. And it affects your energy field and the space around you. And the crystal bowls, they align the etheric and the physical being into these higher frequencies of knowing. So the ability to listen and hear, not only with your ears, but with your whole body. This is where there's that opportunity that's so profound for deep healing. And it brings about this harmonious transformation of the body, heart, and mind into this elevated level of radiance. So yeah, it's so beautiful. And it brings—
That's the entrainment, right?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but that's everyone. This is what I'm talking about. I couldn't do what I do in working with the guided by light and working with the access points until you have this with Carrie and the crystal bowls as beautiful beings, because this really primes you, right? It's priming you vibrationally, getting you to the place where you're feeling the familiar resonance of oracles and differentiating that from your spiritual guides and differentiating that from the devas, right? So Carrie, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to, I'm so excited because I want them to understand that you are literally recognizing which vibrational sounds and bowls, and you're channeling in which order you're going to be sounding these and which types of tools and bowls that you're going to be using that matches each of these realms of these dimensional beings and celestial allies, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, it brings all of the systems in the body out of this state of dissonance back into a state of resonance. So that's what you were saying, that entrainment. So, and this, when we do this, the pure tones produced by the bowls, it enables you to attune or access these higher dimensions. It's a way of opening the channels of communication with these higher dimensional beings or energies. So yes, and so I've been working closely now with the Guardians of the Dimensions for a little while now. And it kind of just happened really naturally. I was working on sessions with people, and I noticed the energy that was coming through was so profound, and it was so much more effective. And so I tuned in to see what was going on, and that's when the Guardians of the Dimensions revealed themselves to me. And so it's just been so beautiful. And when I work with them, they're from the 7th to the 12th dimensions. And when I'm working with your 7 primary chakras in the body, so there's up to 6 guardians per bowl, per chakra bowl. And so they know ahead of time when I'm working on someone, whether in a private session or in a group. And so they determine who is most impactful or who is best suited for this, the healing. And so they come through and they help. So they work in and through me. And it just allows this beautiful, beautiful, profound alignment. It really up levels the vibration of your energetic field so it can sustain this new level of light that wants to come in for you.
Yes, sustain.
Yes.
That's it, right? And I love this because these guardians, I want you to start to think about them as really pairing up and matching with the gateways that we're talking about with these access points, right? And just as you were saying that, Carrie, and me just connecting through you to them, I'm really like, they're talking to me like, yes, yes. That's why they've paired us up, because I can see them understanding the gateway of these access points. And I'm following them right along right now. Like I see them showing me from the base root chakra all the way up. And then also be below that, right? With the earth star chakra that we have, and then the soul star chakra, and starting to work on those transpersonal chakras that are going up from there. So this is like, there's more to it even. We're going to be uncovering this. This is a brand new, beautiful, brilliant program.
Yes.
So thank you, Carrie.
Yes, I'm so
for your
excited.
offering.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Yes. Wow.
So the way that this is going to flow, everyone, is that you're going to first come in and we're going to have this, it's like, I want you to have an intention session. I want you to go through and really start to feel that it's time to draw these celestial allies, these beautiful divine beings into your world. So we'll have that intention, and you'll have that to listen to on your own time. So there's no pressure. You're not going to, have to think that, oh, what if I don't get it right away? You know, what is the feeling of these, and who are these beings, and what's the, you know, what's the experience that I want? I want you to start to resonate in your heart, and really in your own time, you can come back and you can bring the intentions to these beings, because again, that's the context within the container is your intention. And it's important at these higher dimensional levels, because guess what? These oracles read your heart intention. That's how they function and flow with you. So that's really important. So we'll do that. But again, you can always build a greater intention. Sometimes people say, I don't know what the intention should be. To actually just connect and train with them, and to bring your body being into a state of coherence to be able to do that and access the 0 point energy, right? Okay, and then we're going to have you work and do the In Sync program with Carrie. I love that for you. I'm excited about that for you. That's going to prepare you for our 3 energy labs. Now, these 3 energy labs that we're going to be together, focusing in on drawing the energies from the 7th dimensional realm. This is you on the holodeck, like we were talking about. I'm going to intuitively read in your energy field. I've got to look at the energetic structures. I have to look at your celestial body, and I have to look at these access points, right? And during that time, we're making these energy alterations, if you will. These are like little micro quantum adjustments that we're making. Okay. And as we are making these quantum adjustments, what happens is everybody in the space really supports those adjustments being made. So these quantum adjustments, I'm going to give you an example, right? So if I were to tap into your energy field in your body, I might start to see that we need to have a micro quantum adjustment. We're using Metatron's cube with the 7th dimensional holographic frequencies, but to turn a quarter turn. And maybe I have to turn the quarter turn of the celestial body to the left. Maybe I have to turn it up. Maybe I have to turn it down. Maybe I have to turn it to the right, right? I'm working and I'm adjusting so that you can fully associate to the dimensional realm within your celestial body, communicating to the holographic body. This is in real time. So in order for you to advance your spiritual development and to start to open as this celestial channel, this is what we must do. Once we start to create this, and we're going to do 3 calls. So we're going to focus in on your oracles, we're going to focus in on your spirit guides, and we're going to focus in on the Davic realm. And we're doing it in that order for a reason, because we want to end with the grounding vibrational frequencies. We want everything that you've learned, right, to make a difference. So mostly we're living in the 3rd to 5th dimension. So we're going to do that call number 1. We're going to focus in on the spirit guide channel and look for the access points and where they're not functioning. And then I'm going to be able to upgrade those with your help and with the group. It is so profound. Like Sophie said, there are no words for this. Yeah. The things that we're feeling and what's happening and how we're bringing it through, and it is profound. Then we're going to go to the higher dimension, because the oracles, once we get your energy frequencies coming in, again, the higher realms are going to start vibrational frequencies like little sparkles of light opening up in pulsating vibrations. The access points start to become pulsating portals. And as that opens, you get a little mini toroidal field from that portal, bringing energy through. And then the 3rd time that we're together in our energy lab is about grounding that energy, right? Bringing it from as above, so below, connecting it down. And then you're going to have the capacity then to entrain yourself, get the frequency transmissions for translation of each of those. Okay, so that's why I've created this in the way that I have. Also, I'm going to be offering you in PDF form, I'm going to be offering you invocation. I want you to do an invocation. I need you to create intimacy with these beings. Even if you're not focused in on just one, that's not what I'm talking about. The beings, remember, are holographic themselves. You access them through your own heart space. As you do that, and when you invoke from a place of your heart, true, meaningful connections happen. You're going to start to get, ooh, what is this sensory experience of that? Or how am I hearing? Because it could even be a certain tone. You might be feeling and experiencing and hearing, and it's a tonal vibration of the devas. It's a tonal vibration that you're hearing, literally a tone of your spirit guide, or a different type of tonal vibration of your oracle. You could just click in and have a knowing. It could be a tingling sensation, but you know how when you aha moment, it's like the light turns on. It's an instant knowing. That can be the way that you're sensing the vibrational transmission and coming into coherence for communication with them. Then it becomes a collaboration, right? And that's what we're looking for. We want to collaborate with these celestial allies. So that's what we're doing. And then also, we have some bonuses there. And I want to just chat just a second, touch on these. Journey to your higher self really is about you meeting your higher self and starting to merge and bring that in. I told you that that's really important, right? It's so important. And in fact, Carrie, I want you to make sure that you make a note here that in the in sync, you're going to help them first connect with their higher self, right? And then really bring the other beings in. And then also you have Introduction to the Devas webinar. This is by Lynn Chown, an Academy Master Teacher. She is absolutely brilliant. Her mind, I love. The way that she can do research, the way that she brings all of the history together of the Devas and how they've shown up in all these different ancient cultures, and the levels in which we can understand. She did this, I think it's about 90-minute webinar to introduce us to the Devas. Now, I want to give you permission that as you listen to this, you can listen to a little bit at a time and really devour and take it in and process it, because it is so rich. There's so many beautiful insights that you can gain from this. So Introduction to the Devas with Lin Chown, that webinar is included as a bonus, as a gift. So I want you to listen to that. And those are things that you can do before we get started. Also, Lin Chown and I did an elementals mini little ebook. Okay. So you download that PDF and go through that. It's just fun to really understand when we're going to this very, very ethereal realm of the devas. So we are talking about the undines and the sprites and the sylphs and all these beautiful fairy-like beings, and that's going to really help you just have a grasp. Okay, so just wanted to give you a little bit of a foundation in which to then come and connect with Carrie and myself. But I absolutely wish for you to join this. I can't tell you, I'm so thrilled and excited. This is something that it just, and you know, Sophie, because I've connected with you every step of the way here, just the insight after insight, the downloads that have been coming. And I can imagine, like, I'm actually putting myself in that place already in those energy labs. Energy labs are a little different than being in an session, because in energy labs they're special, because I'm going to get you on that call, or you can just put in the queue box. If you can't make the call, that's fine, but why would you not put in, right, the chance for me to work with your energy live in real time with all the other beautiful beings on that call supporting you? It is profound. And I can feel the energy and sense that energy coming in. I'm going to literally do micro adjustments. We're going to be using Metatron's Cube and probably Metatronic Reiki, because a lot of us are familiar with that energy vibration now. But this seventh dimensional experience of the holodeck. And as we tune in and look, I am going to be able to zero in very quickly where the access points are that are specific to each one of those beings. And we're going to shift them, decalcify them, open them, get them spinning, let them be a beautiful little pulsating portal that's going to start to draw the frequencies through and bring you everything that you need, because the whole goal is to illuminate your path. Open your intuitive channels, let you be a channel for what you're meant to channel. And for you, even if that is allowing yourself to feel more connected and in depth in your own being, connected to the divine, hallelujah. If that's for you to channel and download another healing modality that's unique to you as a special gift and serve others as a healer, hallelujah. Whatever it is, if it's to give you more strength in your body, to have you understand the devas will help you with your physical body. That's what they're meant to do, to support you, to bridge the ethereal realm of earthly elements with your experience on this planet. Beautiful. So I invite you, each one of you is important. I want you to join. I want you to be with us. I want you to have these experiences and to go to these states that will really, you know, open your heart and really blow your mind, frankly. I think it's going to be so beautiful. So I wish that for you. So you are absolutely welcome, and we've made it available for you. It's so easy for you to get in on this. And yeah, so I think you can feel my heart is very excited. So
Yes.
Sophie, I turn it over to you. Thank you so much for letting me share.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for so many aspects of it. To start with, thank you for offering this to Graceful Connections. This is exclusive to Graceful Connections. It's brand new, and you're offering it here to our audience, our community. So thank you for that, Christel. Yes, we can feel your heart and hear, and it is so perfectly named. I can see, I'm sure many of us can see how guided by light, the creation of guided by light is totally guided by light, and it is offered through you. It is like a spiraling of guidance by light, and every step of the way we're going to be guided by light, and it is so beautiful. And I love how you've included not only the core elements, and I can feel as Carrie was talking, what was shown to me is how our central colon comes in sync, and it's showing me like like an elevator, you have this like space. So we have the elevator that's going to be properly in place, in sync, and then with you, Christel, we get the gateways, the access points, right? So I see some the elevator structure, and I see the lights lighting up of where we're going to access the devas, the oracles, the spirit guides. And it's just bringing tears to my eye. It's so beautiful because I'm in already. I jumped in right away, but I know that I know it for myself. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful and a tremendous experience and gift to everyone who gets on board. And I'm curious what's going to come out of it. As you say, Christel, for some of us, it's going to be for our own benefit of our finer, deeper, more profound connection to the divine. For some, it's going to be for our purpose, work, and service. What's going to come out of it is, I'm really curious of it. It's going to be beautiful as well. Who needs this program? Is there kind of a profile, or is there?
I guess we could say who needs guidance needs this, right? But I think that, one of the things that happens with people is that they'll overthink something. Their heart will be like, oh my God, I would love that. But then they'll go into like, oh, but I have this or that or the other thing that I need to do. And not understanding that the prompting of the heart is maybe you need this before you do or dig down into other things. Because the beauty of this, and what I've found for my own self, is when I'm connected with the devas and the guides and the oracles now, I'm going to call in. Remember, I said the context. So if you call in with the intention and you're like, okay, I need an oracle that has to do with this topic because I'm about to dive into this program. I need a spirit guide to help me in this area of health, because I'm going to dive in and go in and do a cleanse. This actually supports you with creating a context that will serve for whatever other program you are doing or wanting to do. And it might be that this is the foundational one that's needed. When I started popping open with this idea of like, oh my gosh, you have to really understand that there's so much that comes in that I could create numerous programs at any time, right? Like I've got an ideas list. Why this one? Why now? Why am I compelled? What's happening? When something starts coming out of my mouth and it's been 2 years, it's like, whoa, I've got to put people on the holodeck. This is important. So I think we have to organize our priorities within ourselves. And we do that by being educated, which is what we've done here. We're educating as we're imploring you to pay attention. Why are we doing this? What's behind this? How can this be foundational to serve you in growing, expanding, and even exploring other information, other knowledge, and other wisdom from other beautiful experts, right? So that's kind of what I would say, is that we can really get enriched in the way that we are learning what we need to, when we spend time on something, have it actually make a difference, that it's actually coming in. It's not just a mentalized, oh, I'm listening to this while I'm doing this other thing and I'm thinking I'm getting it. This is really allowing you to have the other beings serve you, serve the translation to come through and make a difference and have it be meaningful in your life.
Yes, amen to that. What else to say? What else to say? Yes, thank you so much. I think this is really clear for everyone. So to wrap it up, all the details on gracefulconnections.com/Christel3, or just scroll down the page. Guided by Light, 3-week live interactive series. It's actually 6 weeks live interactive series, because we start with 3 weeks with Carrie in sync, 3-week live interactive Zoom experience with Carrie to get us in sync, and then the 3 holographic energy labs with you, Christel, plus starting first with the intention downloadable MP3 that we work. And I love that. I love that we it is paced. It's a good pace, but there's time and space between each step that we can work through it, play with it, and process,
yeah,
digest,
assimilate,
integrate,
process,
and
yeah.
assimilate, and then we're ready for the next. So that's a very beautiful tempo. And the Celestial Allies PDF also series, and the bonuses, I'm very curious about the bonuses as well from Linchon. So again, it's exclusive to Graceful Connections, and to make it, yes, very accessible, you have 2 payment, even 3 payment options available.
Okay.
So
That
with that, we'll meet again on Friday, March the 1st, with Christel at 9 a.m. Pacific. We're going to have a lot of fun and have a lot more revelations. It's going to be live intuitive readings galore. So that's when we get you to experience your laser focused readings, Christel. So Christel will read for you what's blocking my connection to my primary oracle. So we want to know that. Of course, if you can't attend the live call, make sure to request your reading in advance and then catch up with the replay and receive Christel's insights and wisdom. And let's take a moment again to be present once again in the orb of grace. Allowing it to hold us, to hold all. I have a smile to my ears, considering all we have received today, all we have experienced, discovered, all that we're not even yet aware that we have received, allowing ourselves to receive it, allowing it to sink in, to settle in as we're safely held in the sacred space of the orb of grace. And I'm closing now with gratitude to each and every one of you in the audience. Thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace. Immense gratitude to you, amazing Christel. Every time you do it, whatever is the topic, you just show up and you blow our mind. So thank you for showing up today and for all the wisdom, the brilliance, the offerings that you have gifted us today, and through all the graceful connections that have been woven with you and your masterful expertise. Thank you, Christel.
Thank you to the devas. Thank you to our guides. Thank you to the oracles. I'll be bringing all of mine when we meet again. And so exciting to do the intuitive readings. And we've got a little surprise there of what we're going to be doing.
There's going to be a surprise.
So many opportunities to connect and be together, and fun things that are going to happen. So I just want to say blessings to each one of you. May it be a blessing to your heart and to your soul, that anything that has come through that really inspires you to align to the greater purpose that is you, to allow that light of truth to heal you, to be a blessing for you, and to carry that out into the world and to bless all beings in all realms. We do this together as a collective and we make a difference. So, and Sophie, thank you so much. And Carrie, thank you for putting this on. I know that this takes a lot of time and energy, and everyone listening, it might seem easy from the outside, but I do want to acknowledge you and Carrie for tirelessly coming and doing what you do and bringing this and everything that it takes. And also just your heart, Sophie, to have a heart that is so generous, that is so willing to do this. And you are a blessing to our community. I just want to gently bow to you and namaste and thank you so much for all that you bring. Thank you for the blessing that is you. Thank you to your oracles and your guides and your Davis, right? Because they got you here. So
Yes.
thank you. And to all the beautiful beings that are listening and watching and presencing themselves. So much love. Waves of love and light. Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Christel. Thank you. Yes, and well, double, triple, or even more gratitude to you, Christel, and the Academy for the Soul for offering this platform in which graceful connections grow and expand, impacting our lives and our environment and the world at large as we step into living our divine radiance. Gratitude to the Orb of Grace for providing a safe, sacred space for this journey of exploration that we're embarked on together. And gratitude for all the grace we are blessed with at every moment, whether we're aware of it or not. It's bringing us all the nourishment, the nurturing, the healing, the revelations, and the realizations that we open our hearts to receive. Gratitude to our higher selves and all the higher beings who guide, support, and protect us, and gratitude to the divine. Thank you. Thank you so much, Christel. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, everyone. Until we meet again, many graceful blessings to you all. Thank you, and goodbye now.